Hey guys, Weasel here. I just finished Sky Factory 3, so I'm going to give a tour of my base. As you can see, I'm wearing a crazy outfit here. I'll show you what I've got on. I'm wearing the Draconic set. It's very ugly. I'll take this off. See, there's Draconic alone, just these doing that. I put the shades on just to make it look uglier, and the cloak because it clips through. And that just makes the ensemble fabulous. Yeah. So my first floor, this is actually where the tree started out, right up here, and I broke down and I created this platform with wood, and then I used logs here and had floors. This was all wood originally. I used the builder to convert that wood into the material I'm using here. This is future block. I've got some sea lanterns, and this is brownstone. I did that after I had chickens, because chickens was a huge advancement. This is all built by Builder, and this torus shape or donut is in Builder as well. It automatically builds it. You just set the parameters that you want, and it does the work for you. So on my first floor, over here I have my auto hammer and auto sieve, and it's right now, the last it was doing was compressed sand. And that was for shards. I needed prosperity shards to work on mystical agriculture. Over here I have my portal. This goes to the end. I did the end one time by cake, and then I used the draconic portal to get there easier rather than having to deal with that stupid end cake. This is the beneath teleporter to go to the mining dimension. Over here is where I was working on the octuple compressed cobblestone. All of those feeding to each door. Each door is filtered up one higher level, so each cobblestone is compressed more. You see I got 3 septuples already, about to make another octuple, halfway there. And then I've got my battery here. This just kept getting larger and larger until I switched over to Flux Network, and then I stopped using this. So now we'll go down the floor. Down here is my Tinker's base. Also, before I do that, I should show you I have everything hidden wires. And you see this wire going up and down the building, and we'll see more in the chickens area and stuff. But I hid a lot of wire. Or conduit, rather. So Tinkers, I have the furnace here. This is a great furnace. I love this furnace. It's pretty good. The only furnace in the game I found better than it was the ultimate furnace, because this can do stacks on stacks, 16 in each block, all the way down. This furnace, or this, smeltery, I put a little glass over here just to get some lighting, because mobs kept spawning inside of it. These are both fed with lava. Actually, I took that one off. I moved it somewhere else. This is when we were manually doing it. We had a lot of ores coming out, and then that's to fill up a tank. I did that for when I was building a reactor and moving liquid ender. I was melting ender pearls, filling up the tank, and taking them off. Anything that comes in here is auto sent to here. I was automating plates at one point. This is my tool building station. The stencils, patterns, all that. That's the empty quantum tank. Here's a coke oven. I was feeding coal in the back, and then exporting coal, and it was taking out the coal, whatever it's called. Mainly because I needed creosote, which is all in here. This is my lava generator. They're all on uranium blocks. Once you get chickens, you get uranium, and your lava generation speeds up a lot. And that's a cobblestone generator feeding into these, pumping cobblestone in, pulling lava out. Lava's going into here. You can see I have a ton of lava. And then I'm also sending lava over to an ender tank so I can put lava wherever I need it. On the next level, I have my chickens. Chickens are wonderful. I consider them, they're pretty much cheating. Like, once we had chickens, we had everything that was needed, and I was pretty much moving like 10 times the speed once I had chickens. Because anything I needed, iron, diamonds, emeralds, like, they're all from chickens. So you get the tier 1 chickens, these here. I put them in order actually by tier. I found an Excel spreadsheet on Reddit and went with that. So tier 1 chickens, I bred them up to 10. When they're side by side, they breed. So I just kept taking eggs and hatching them up until they were 10, 10, 10. And then I used those tier 1 chickens to breed with each other to make the different versions. And every time from that point on, any babies are always 10 because their parents were 10. And that made it very easy to move quickly through all these different things to have all the chickens. And then all the chicken drops feed into here. These are all maxed out with emerald upgrades. So I'll never, I'll never run out of any of these because they won't ever be full. They have so much capacity. And then this area over here is for hatching babies. I put the babies in there, they grow up with the chicken feeder, and they get separated over to the other side. Now, the reason for this is if for some reason I'm using a shit ton of one product, like say redstone, as one time I did, I can go over and grab more redstone chickens by going on the back and then disabling it. That way I can grab the eggs out from the nesting pen. And then I'll take all the eggs over here and hatch them, and the babies grow up over here, and I'll just let them free run here. Free range chickens. And anything they drop will get picked up by the item collector there and sent back into the system. Because all these drops are getting collected and sent into the system that's hooked up to my refined storage. Another thing is the eggs are all filtered. Let me see right here. I have one egg in here on an advanced item filter, and ignoring the metadata and the MBT. And this thing is throwing all the chickens into here. And as soon as they grow up, that baby sorter sends the grown-up chickens over here. And they get pushed on the vector plates onto the magma and die. Such a great ending to their life. So all their drops go into this thing. This thing's just for the loot bags. It holds the loot bags until they go into here. And these things combine them up. And then send the loot bags on the way once they're legendary status. So I have my legendary loot bags there. Because legendary loot bags are great. You get lots of cool stuff from them. Another thing I should point out is that I have feathers being shredded here sometimes. I turned it off. And then that stuff being smelted into plastic, because plastic was used for some of the hatchery stuff, like this lucky egg machine. You can make little Easter egg things to open up and have random items in it too. Little loot eggs. Chicken is being smelted. Once the chickens are killed, they come here and get smelted, and then into here. If the smelter's full, then the extra chicken gets fed over here. That only happened at the beginning, and then it kind of evened out. So now I just got a ton of cooked chicken. And then lastly, the manure is being piped over here to this fertilizer mixer, which I actually have two of them going, and they're just water, and they fill up this fertilizer tank. So I can come over here with my fertilizer, grab some fertilizer, and go spray whatever plants I need fertilized. That is chickens. Down below, I have actually additions, the Empower and the Reconstructor over here. Reconstructor is just button pressed, and the Empower I have automated by pipe. And each one of these is linked to one by color coding. So you put the item you want to be empowered here, and then each one of the ingredients, and it goes into here, and it starts automatically, and then it outputs your empowered item right here. So that way, instead of doing one by one, I could throw 5 stacks of each item in here, and then I would end up with 5 stacks of the item I wanted at the end. This chest is part of one of the quest requirements to build a colossal chest, so I built it. Other than that, it's very pointless. So down here I have my GP generation. I started off with the water mills. This did pretty much all I ever needed. I didn't really need the egg, but I have the egg now. I'm only using 39 grid power right now. I think we used a little bit more when at Angel Rings going on, but now We've got the beacon for flight. But I have the dragon egg mill. I have the water mills. This is my rainbow generator setup. I have this RF transmitter is actually powering a heating coil. So the overclock generator, because it burns through fuel so fast, it's a lot better just throw a heating coil in there and let it burn through power, because I'm generating a ton of power and it can just waste my power. I don't care. I have lava going to the lava generator, and then each one of these is set up with the ingredient that it needs. That's not what I was looking at. That's this one. So redstone's going into there, right? And then we have coal going into that one. So each one has what it needs. One thing I want to point out is the Slimey Generator, which needed a bucket of milk. So my solution to that is down here. I have the cow in the jar, and I have this user. So when the slimy thing finishes with the bucket of milk, it's filtered to send down an empty bucket to the user. The user will activate the empty bucket on the jar of milk, have a full bucket of milk, and it's filtered to send that full bucket back up to the Slimey Generator. And so every time it runs out of milk, it just goes down there and gets some more, and the cow generates some more milk for me. I have the rest of these set up. Potions are using potion to healing, which I'm getting from my mob farm. Pink's also using pink dye, comes from the mob farm. I have a death generator using something from the mob farm. This enchantment generator is getting enchanted books coming from my fishing farm. I'll show off in a minute. Nether stars, of course. Cooked chicken, that went to good use there. And this is Dragon's Breath. This is the only one I couldn't figure out how to automate. You have to manually get this. And then I have Ender Pearls. So everything in here is automated. And this whole system can run, except for I will run out of Dragon's Breath and have to go get more. So I can't leave this running. That's why there's a switch on it. But you can turn it on and see that the rainbow generator runs. And everything goes. I just turned it off because it's loud and annoying. And I don't need 25 million power. But the rainbow generator did work. That was a success. Here's slime. So, next I have up here, this was the original storage space. And then we upgraded to the computer over here. This computer is auto-crafting a ton of stuff. I'm using a sag mill, auto-crafter on a sag mill to make whatever I want. The same here with the smelter. I didn't really use that one a lot. This ultimate furnace, I'm actually burning LP. And then there's all the things for that. Like, you can auto-craft anything. It's awesome. I love auto-crafting. I can display, there I have it on only craftables. Yeah, so this is all the stuff that I can craft. Anything from here I want, I just press craft and it makes. If I run out, it makes more. That's great. I love it. So all these things are set up to craft random things for me. Solar panels was a big one. Crafting the solar panels, because those are annoying. Each one of these needs 4 of the previous one. And auto-crafting those was great. The same with mystical agriculture is an important thing to auto-craft. The barrels was a good one. And the Nether Star generators, when I ended up using a bunch of those. And it was great to be able to auto-craft them. I never actually had a sugarcane farm. I used this little bit for the amount of sugar that I needed. And I had a rice farm for paper that Pell set up for me. I'll show off in just a minute. Brewing stands, I didn't do that much brewing, so I only put 5 there. This is my enchanting area. This experience obelisk takes power from my mob farm. Takes levels, liquid levels get piped in from my mob farm. So you just come up here, grab all the levels you want, do your enchanting, repairing, and such. These enchant is powered by the mana pylons. And then there's the auto enchanter in the back. So all that stuff, and then you come back and drop your levels off. Simple. My flux storage here, that's 1 billion. And then there's the controllers, that's 1 for that. And then I had the 1 billion network, which was set up to make 1 billion RF a tick. This is where I kept my achievement book. You can see I have finished everything on the list. The last thing I checked off was the fill a quantum storage unit with anything. to be 100% complete. My Cloches I had over here, I was just testing out the Cloches originally, and I used it for Draconium, was the first thing I needed. These are the machines I was using manually. They're all pipes underneath my bed. Okay, that's this floor. Next floor is Botania. So, stupid animals keep spawning here. There's my portal to Alfheim. These are Kikimuros. They eat cake, so I have cake coming from chickens, because there's a chicken that makes cake, so you end up with lots of cake. So this thing exports cake into this, and this thing just uses cake whenever it has space. It uses the cake. And these things eat the cake and produce mana whenever they have room for it, and it fills up that one, which feeds into all these pools. So I have a ton of mana. Don't need more. Everything is full. And I also had a mana generator over here with a TNT one, the Entropinium. This thing places TNT down. When the TNT explodes, this thing absorbs the explosion and makes mana as well. This is to verify that this is sending all the mana out, and it doesn't send another TNT down until all the mana is gone. Because if there is still mana in this fire, when a TNT drops, it'll make a big explosion, and it won't absorb the explosion. So I had to do a check to make sure there's still mana. And then my alchemy transfusion thing is under here. Yeah, that's about it for Botania. This orchid is annoying, really annoying, so I put a sound muffler up above it. So when I was making stone into ores, it was silent. Here is Pell's Steve Carts area. Pell did this. Got really good with Steve Carts. These are trees. The cart runs around, cuts the tree down, plants a new one. These are running off of coal. It was converting the tree into coal and using it on itself. And then these were running off of solar because they had access to the sun. And they would just go around and cut the plants down. The plants actually have greenhouse glass over them so they grow faster. And everything was getting stored right here. This is actually not running right now because the carts broke on a server restart and just never put them back down. And then there's some Pam's Harvest Craft stuff and farming for blockheads. Oh, yep, there's all that stuff from Steve Carts. That's our Steve Carts farm, and actually up here too. Over here we have the outside of our maximum size reactor. It's all filled with diamond blocks. That was one of the achievement. And another achievement was to build a maximum size reactor. There's the top pattern. You can see it's offset here. I'll show you why when we get into inside. It was more just to center it. The next floor. Oh, this was my dragon cage. I was able to have dragons in here and fly them out. Don't have any dragons to show because I had a problem with mobs and I had to do kill entity command. So my dragons died, sadly. But that is where I kept all my dragons. This one is Draconic Evolution. I have a small battery here, just the core and the stabilizers, because there was an achievement to fill a battery, and that was the easiest way. I just threw a plane on here and filled this battery up. This was my fusion crafting. I have the chaotic tier here. I don't really know why I don't think I've actually used anything that needed the chaotic tier. I was doing it for the solar panels, and it turns out in Sky Factory 3, solar panels are not done through fusion crafting. They're actually done on a crafting table. So I did put the automator here, so anything that I drop in through here, I put the same way I did it actually additions is done here. I put all the ingredients in, the item I want to be converted, and the item comes out here. And then that got annoying for each one of the different tiers of upgrades, so I automated that. I have tiny chests in here holding a stack of each one. So this here is the Wyvern tier. And like right next to it is all the ingredients for a Draconic tier. So all you do is you come over here, you put the item in that you want to upgrade, you put the upgrade you want in, and then you just press basic tier, then you press the next, and it does all 3 upgrades on your weapon without having to do the ingredients. Nice and simple. Up here I have my reactor. This was originally a passive cooled one, and then I shortened it to 1 high and put the turbine on top of it. So now it's an actively cooled reactor. You can see inside I have it sitting right at 900, pushing out 2,000 millibuckets per tick. And it's barely using any fuel. And it's 28,000 RF a tick. The turbine's running right at 1782. All the numbers are like perfect setup. I found this on Reddit. This actually seemed to be a common one that people were using. I did have my solar panels over here for a while. I moved them. I'll show you that in a minute. This is my Nether Star generator that was running for a while, but now I'm producing more than enough. I don't need to waste Nether Stars on that. And that's the rest of the outside. I mean, the middle, whatever. Now let's go to the outside. This is my tier 8 energy core. There actually wasn't even an achievement to build this. I just built it because I wanted a max storage of energy. And you can see I have 10 trillion RF in here right now. This server had an issue with the flux points plugging into the energy pylon, so I just got around it with the energy IO crystals. And then I just kind of connected them all just to make a little pattern. Next we have the solar panels from Environmental Tech. I think a tier 4 was on the achievements, but I built both of them, tier 1 and tier 4. There's the same with the lightning rods. And then here is the Nanobot Beacons. Nanobot Beacons are awesome. You place a Nanobot Beacon down, and you get the beacon effects no matter where you go. But it's only for the one person that placed the beacon down. So I placed mine down, and then I gave Pell the components so he could place his down. And you see we got night vision, speed, strength, resistance, regeneration, haste, fire resistance, and saturation. Actually, I think night vision's coming from my armor, but the rest of those are coming from the beacon. And that is the roof. You can see here I got a huge garden area. We'll go inside and look at it, but that's all greenhouse glass to make the garden grow faster. Other things I have outside is this area over here that was just for playing with chance cubes. It created the village, it created those towers of ores, and it created this glass dome. And then way over here, I get lost. Off in the distance, there it is. This is my Kabul Generation, because I had to fill that quantum tank, which holds 2.5 billion of one item. Right now it's 658 million, because once it hits 2.5 billion, that's the max integer number, so it resets and just starts all over. So we've already lost multiple billions of Kabul. But these are all generating Kabul, sending it up into the inner chest. It's on a refined storage system set up as a storage, external storage, and these are all importing into the refined storage system. So you can see it goes over and over and over and over and over really fast. Let's go back now. We gotta show the inside. Alright. Starting right here at Dimensions. This is one of my favorite rooms. Made it look god-awful ugly. Alright. Dimensions was an awesome mod. You can build dimensions, load them in, teleport to them, modify them with whatever you want in it. I highly suggest everybody go check this one out. It's great. So I kept all my dimlets here. That's how I modified the dimensions. And the builder held the pieces for the dimlets to build each dimlet. So the one dimension I did want to show off, I have it dialed in already, yeah. The solar dimension. I built a dimension. I think I keep it in here. No, I keep it in, I have it builder constantly loading it. It's got weather, time, and sky. So it's always clear weather. It's always set at noon. The sun's always right at the top of the sky. And I did this for solar panels was the reason I did this. So if you come up here, I have my solar panels right here, chaotic solar panels. They produce 500,000 RF a tick. So those together are producing 2 million RF a tick, and it's chunk loaded. So I always have RF, and it's free. It doesn't cost me anything because the only RF being spent on this is the one chunk that's loading in this dimension. But it doesn't outweigh the RF that I'm bringing in. Rather, this. And you can actually do that at lower tier solar panels too, because this dimension is costing me 81 RF a tick. And so if you look at the solar panels, they tell you their generation. So the first one only generates 1, then 8, and then 32. So once you have solar panels 4s, that's 128 RF a tick, you can take those into that dimension and you'll start having an output all the time. And then it gets even better the higher tiers. Up to chaotic, where you have 524,000 RF a tick. It's great. Another thing I have over here are the Cloches. I did a whole bunch more because they are very fast. They're better than any other garden. I wish I found out about these early on because I totally would have went with flowers instead of chickens. And I think that would have made me advance even faster. Because all you gotta do is make one seed and these things multiply it. I ended up with 512 seeds of each type of plant because of these Cloches. Down here below it, I have all my Nether Star generators. There is 400 Nether Star generators. These produce 2.5 million, and to get to 1 billion RF a tick was the achievement. I think you only need like 390 something, but I just wanted to be safe, so I made 400. They're all set to the 1 billion network on flex plugs, and I went through and manually loaded them all so that whenever I ran it, it would reach 1 billion. Some of them ran, some of them didn't. I did hit 1 billion though, so I don't really care. That's the benefits of overbuilding. The next area is my mob farm. So this was the first mob farm. I had one platform, and there were vector plates, and I upgraded it to Cursed Earth. So mobs constantly spawn as long as there's no light. So I put light down there to stop it for now. When that light's off, these mobs are flying. There's fans pushing them to the center. They land on the witch water. The witch water converts any skeletons to wither skeletons, and they get killed. And the mob drops come over here. Any excess mob drops go into the computer, because I was trying to find specific items, and the computer didn't really help. I thought that I would get enchanted weapons and stuff, but they don't. None of them spawn with enchanted weapons, so that was kind of a waste. But also I have the wither builder over here, because I was getting wither skulls. So this thing places the wither skulls and the soul sand and explodes a wither. And I have it set up right now. It's happening every 10 seconds, a wither's happening and dying. So I'm getting nether stars. You can see over here I have 43 stacks of them. Turns out I needed more wither heads though. More skelly skulls. So I'm made specific grinders for them. Get down from there. 2 spawners for wither skellies, pushing them over to this corner, and then they fall down the hole and they get pushed up against the thing to kill them. Really hard to fly up out of a specific spot. So that was my 3 mob farms I have going on over here. The next area, let's go up top. This is Mystical Agriculture Farm. One of the achievements was to have these farmers here and have a bunch of them. So I have these farmers. I have 21 different crops going. I have more than 21 types of crops. And I put Supremium hose in them because they don't take damage. So these things can continuously run. They have the octadic capacitors in them to increase their performance. And the plants are growing on fertile soil with the greenhouse glass and the growth tier crystal 3 to improve plant growth. So these things are growing extremely fast. You can see I've got Galorium Essence, 2,080 stacks of it. So this has stopped growing. But those are all the different ones I was growing. I didn't need much because I have chickens doing most of the work. That noise you hear is mobs dying as part of my blood magic. Here, I have the blood magic altar tier 5. and that's a ritual stone, and it's filling up this orb in my blood thing, which everything's full. Like, I've maxed out my blood capacity. I automated some stuff back here. I could put whatever I wanted in. Listen. And it would send it to here, convert it, and then output the prot thing here. Because I had to automate demonic slates. So that's the altar and the ritual. I made crystals here. There's the alchemy table. And there's the forge. This is my tier 5 incense altar. Ah, that's a mess right there. It's not supposed to be there. There's supposed to be a piece of grass. I'm assuming an Enderman took it. But yeah, all these little things, different things changed, modified the incense altar. You had to have a mixture of them all to make that reach 300%. So I kind of just made a little pattern. And underneath, I had another farm, is where I collected my demonic wills. I put the demonic will sword in there, and it killed the mobs that dropped from grinders, or from spawners I put in here. So I automated demonic will, and I automated LP over there. So that was blood magic covered. The next area I have, well, here's my extreme reactor. You can see it's at 900, consuming 1.6 millibuckets per tick. And it's outputting 386,000 RF a tick. So this isn't even near as good as one of the solar panels I have running. This is wasting fuel, but I'm getting fuel from the chicken, so I don't care. It's exporting. I'm sending yellorium and plutonium into it. Over here, I have my environmental tech. That's the tier 5 ore miner, and next to it is the tier 5 resource miner. Once again, as I said, there's pipes hidden everywhere. And those are going over here. Resources on this side. And ores on this side. And I actually have it set up with a trash can. Oh, the trash can's underneath. It's down here somewhere. Right there, look. So anything that overflows gets fed into that trash can. And I did that by just setting the trash can as a lower priority. These are pulling the ore into here. And it's converting it to the liquid. And then automating pouring. I have the redstone thing over here. Yeah, and then it's automating the pouring by redstone power. And it sends out fresh ore that it sends into here. So we have full blocks of each thing. I did one for each ore rather than mixing them to combining them, because I didn't want to deal with alloys or whatever. Like, it was a lot easier just to do one for each ore. And these, it was not hard to make this. Once you have one smelter, you can make these bricks really easy by just putting a bunch of stone in it. Over here, I have my area for fighting Gaia, the Guardian of Botania. There's a little summoning area. It had to be built with specific, like in regards to the beacon placement and these pions, and then the rest of it I just kind of designed to match the Gaia fight, because the Gaia fight's all pink too. It throws up this pink barrier and stuff. The liquid ender is just for show. It's not required for any of that. And that's that. Oh, on the back side, down here, I have the rest of the stuff processing. Anything that couldn't be put in a smeltery comes in here. You see there's some nether quartz going. I think that one's doing diamond. Yeah. So any ores that it finds that can't be smelted go through the crushers to get processed. And then they get smelted from there, or they just get sent up for whatever that ore needed. And then, let's see. I think that's it. If you have any questions, you want to see anything, want me to elaborate on any of my build at all, just let me know in a comment, and I will show you how I did it. Thanks for watching.